Hey, hey, hey. I was ready to go, and then something else done popped off. I see where we're going to talk to Obama, but there's an investigation. Something else just popped off with Congress. So,
And legal authority to fully fund SNAP in November. Plain and simple. They are refusing to follow the law, and they are
so I got
cutting
to
food assistance when there are
jump right
ample
in,
funds
y'all.
available. Over $5 billion in the SNAP contingency fund, and they have the legal statutory transfer authority to fund the
Oh,
rest.
they got the
If the
money.
president wanted to help feed hungry Americans, he would. He's shown us that. He does whatever the hell he wants to,
Right.
whether it's legal or not. This is not only legal, but it is the right thing to do.
Hey, y'all.
But his actions have shown a callous disregard for America's seniors, veterans, and families with children. Earlier this year, he canceled food orders to food banks, stopping $500
Hey,
million
Samantha.
worth of food from reaching people in need. Food that our family farmers across this nation have grown. Food that they counted on being able to sell to the nation's food banks.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans' one and only priority this Congress has been the big ugly bill,
Right.
which not only cut health care by $1 trillion, but also cut SNAP by $186 billion. A frontal assault on our most effective basic need food assistance program to help vulnerable members of our community who rely on it to keep food on the table. Now the administration is taking food away from 16 million children, 8 million seniors, and 1.2 million veterans. Their hands are not tied. Their hands are not tied. The law is clear. The law is as clear as this administration's cruelty is as clear. The law is as unambiguous as congressional Republicans' desire to let the ACA tax credits expire. It is unconscionable. It is egregious, and it is illegal. I'm calling on the president to do the right thing and the moral thing, which coincidentally offers him a chance to do something he rarely does,
The
which
right
is
thing.
follow the law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling on my Republican colleagues to
They don't
speak
file the
up to your
suit against
friends
them.
in this administration and at the USDA and deliver a simple message. They have the money and the authority to fund SNAP. Hungry Americans.
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever. Here's how I did it. Meal planning
And
used
we
to be
don't want no
such a
monkey meat.
This nation, including my own Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, for standing up to this administration earlier today. Stop playing politics with America's hungry children, veterans, the disabled, seniors. Get back to the negotiating table. Open up the government and fund SNAP in November. Thank you.
Connecticut joined that soon too, so excited to be with you.
We're going to do on-topic questions first around the shutdown,
So we don't miss
SNAP,
most of
and
it.
healthcare.
But we going to get to a president.
Said that throughout the shutdown the last month or so, that appropriators should still continue to work on 12 appropriations bills. Can you talk about what that work has looked like as auditors have been off the hill, how our three members can be
Sure. When the four of us sat down, Congressman Cole, Senators Murray and Collins and myself, it's really now over a month ago, and we came together and we talked about two or three things. One of them was that what we needed to do was to have the top lines for the agriculture, interior, and the military construction bill. The second thing, and we agreed that we would do that, so we had a number to work to. The second thing was that we would do a bipartisan continuing resolution. A bipartisan continuing resolution. And that would include two things. One of which was to take into consider Democratic priorities, because all of the bills that we had seen were just unilaterally partisan. And amongst those Democratic priorities was the issue of health care and the premium subsidies and the Medicaid cuts. It's $1 trillion and the skyrocketing costs that are now upon people at this very, very moment. And the other thing that we spoke about, and there was a consensus about this, that what we needed to do was in the future, when the appropriators came to a conclusion, that would stick, and that we wouldn't have any unelected bureaucrats who were saying, no, money's going here, money's going there, everywhere, except for where it was appropriate. We had consensus about that. Not a few days later, on the table, bang. This is the Republican continuing resolution, and therefore that's what it is. In the meantime, yes, staff in both the House and the Senate have worked on those 3 bills, and I would just say they have made progress on the bills. But the issue now is coming to the table.
Hi, Mike.
To be
Thank
able
you, boss
to
lady.
deal with the continuing
How you
resolution
doing?
and the issues that have been central to that, which is cutting the costs and canceling the cuts and saving America's health care. Now, you may want to ask, what does that have to do with the bill? Well, the continuing resolution is 91 pages. 67 of those pages are about health care and so forth. So it is the appropriate conversation, and given that those notices are going out now, that we need to deal with it now. So we are waiting for them to come to the table to reopen the government, and honestly, if we can get my 3 other colleagues, we would move on appropriations bills. But they have refused to come to the table since the outset of this debate.
Yeah, Donald Trump and Republicans have taken a my way or the highway approach from the very beginning of this Congress. And we've maintained, led by Rosa DeLauro, that we want to sit down and negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement, now reopen the government, but at the same period of time, address the Republican health care crisis.
Okay. Let's get to the lawsuit. Let's get to the lawsuit. Y'all please come in, hitting the like button. Hello to any and everybody who came in that I may have missed. Let's talk to former President Obama about a lawsuit. 25 states have sued Trump. Let me make you a little bigger. There we go. Y'all ready? Let's go. Come in, hitting the like button, please.
My fellow Americans, I want you to step away from the noise of the news cycle for just a moment and picture something with me. I want you to picture a kitchen pantry, a pantry in a home in Ohio, or a small apartment in Texas, or a rural town in Georgia. And I want you to see the shelves. Imagine the anxiety that builds as those shelves get barred. Imagine the quiet calculations happening at the kitchen table. The math of stretching what's left, trying to figure out how to make 3 days of food last for 5, or for 7, or for who knows how long. This isn't a thought experiment. This is a cold, creeping fear that is right now descending on 42 million of our neighbors, 42 million Americans. That is not a statistic. That is a population. It's the size of California. It's children who need energy to learn in school. It's seniors who have worked their entire lives now facing impossible choices. It's veterans who wore the uniform of this country. It's people with disabilities. It's working families
exclusive.
punching the clock every day who just need a little help to put food on the
Ooh,
table
he
for
was
their kids.
the most
42
sound.
million of our people are now facing an unprecedented hunger crisis. And it is happening not because of a natural
Yes, he
disaster, not because of a famine, but because of a failure in Washington. A government shutdown is always a failure of politics. It always brings hardship. But this is something different. This is a level of deliberate indifference that should shake every single one of us. We are learning today that a coalition of 25 states, half the country, governors and attorneys general from all over, are now filing a lawsuit against the administration. Think about that. States are having to sue their own federal government. And what are they asking for? They are asking the administration to simply follow the law, to release the food assistance that 42 million people depend on the SNAP benefits that are their lifeline. This is the kind of discussion that matters more than the daily tweet, more than the political game.
Follow the law.
It's why we have to create a space to talk about the real world consequences of these decisions. It's why this
I
channel
ain't gonna
exists.
interrupt.
And if you believe that
To
these
build a tunnel
conversations
to
are
funnel
essential, if
kids.
you believe that we must bear witness to this, then I am asking you right now to subscribe to this channel. And if you are able to become a member, to join this community, to support this work, because we have to be the ones who refuse to look away.
Absolutely. Yes, he is a traitor of the United States, and he's building a bunker to escape, as well as he is be able to funnel those little kids so that the dirty MAGA men will have way to bid on the little kids. It's just a way to keep it going since he don't know where he going to stay, right? And he think he not gonna leave. He is building a Diddy tunnel, like Hugh Hefner, up under the White House without money, while hungry U.S. citizens will go starving. And he funds Argentina, but won't allow what goes forth in the U.S. way before he came. Yeah. And his fat ass is eating. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let's go.
The states are suing because the administration is refusing to use a fund that already exists. Let me repeat that. The money is there. It is sitting in an account, $5.5 billion. The contingency fund. And do you know what? Congress set that $5.5 billion. Become a member to join
Did
this
y'all hear how
community.
much money is just sitting there? Did y'all hear that? Former president, the one that had sound mind, intelligence, well spoken, and wanted equality for everybody. Billions sitting there in for that fund. But he funding. He done made millions and billions, billions. His whole family done came up billions in 10 months. That's good.
Is sitting in an account, $5.5 billion. The contingency fund, and do you know what Congress set that $5.5 billion aside for? It was intended for an event exactly like this one, for an emergency.
It may
for a
be
shutdown.
gone.
It is the definition of a rainy day fund, and right now,
Yeah, it may be gone. But all he have to do is open up the Epstein files, release them in the totality, all of it. Don't hold back shit. Then you won't have to need somebody from Epstein bank account sending money anonymously to the Pentagon for the troops. Yeah. Everybody could go back to their normal little. If you would stop trying to protect, you say he a dead man, ain't he? Yeah. Is he really? Yeah. Release the files. Yeah, but you can't. You ain't man enough. You always click with your lips to have something smart to say to somebody, especially a black female. But you ain't man enough to pull them big old dirty draws up. Yeah, and face the shit that you did. If you wasn't man enough, then you should have been playing with them kids. Man up, nigga. Yeah. Man the fuck up and go change your dirty diaper.
for 42 million Americans, it is pouring, and the administration is choosing to keep the umbrella locked away. This is not about fiscal responsibility. This is not about
My
saving
bad, I'm
money.
sorry.
This is a choice, a cold, calculated choice to use the most vulnerable among us as political pawns. It is a decision to leverage $1 billion, the contingency fund, and do you know what Congress set that $5.5 billion aside for? It was intended for an event exactly like this one, for an emergency, for a shutdown. It is the definition of a rainy day fund, and right now for 42 million Americans, it is pouring, and the administration is choosing to keep the umbrella locked away. This is not about fiscal responsibility. This is not about saving money. This is a choice, a cold, calculated choice to use the most vulnerable among us as political pawns. It is a decision to leverage the hunger of a child to win a political argument. This is not the America. I know this is not the nation we are supposed to be. The America I served, the
Hey,
America
Mimi.
I believe in, does not turn its back on its own. We
Yeah,
are
he
a
know he
nation whose
going down.
greatness is not measured by the height of our walls, but by the strength.
Oh man, he's smiling because one thing is for sure, Illis. One thing is for sure, everybody. We know Trump hate to see Obama talking
Our
about
safety net,
his
by our
failures.
capacity for empathy.
You understand? He hate to see there. He cannot measure in any shape, form, or fashion with President Obama. So for him to come out, for him to start talking about your ratchet ass, means that it's pretty bad. And shout out to President Obama right now for coming out and letting his face be seen, his voice be heard, so that we make no mistake about it. One thing is for sure, he don't lie to us. He'll put it out there, whether it's for our benefit or not. So right now, when these people are deciding, trying to figure out if he gonna what Trump is gonna do, he gonna let us know. So get out and vote. We fighting for every. It's bad. Yeah, you see President Obama coming out. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad for everybody. Again, it's not a left or a right, black or white. It's bad for everybody. He don't care about none of us. Let's be clear.
We are a nation whose greatness is not measured by the height of our walls, but by the strength of our safety net, by our capacity for empathy.
Oh man, I did
by
it
our
wrong. Hold
willingness
on.
to see ourselves in.
Let's stop. Let me stop. God, dog. I'm sorry. Hold up. I gotta back up. That meeting that they had kind of threw me off. Let me back up. I was supposed to start someplace else first before I started here. I was supposed to start here. And then, yeah, because this is ongoing.
Two visions of power. One chose volume, the other chose silence. And in that silence, history shifted. Because when Trump said, sit down, Obama showed the world what it really means to stand tall. When Donald Trump told Barack Obama to sit down, no one expected what came next. Obama's response wasn't loud or angry, but it left the entire room on its feet, and Trump searching for words. Sit down, 2 words, sharp, dismissive. Trump leaned forward, voice echoing through the Phoenix Convention Center. People are tired of hearing you lecture. The audience froze. A few gasps, a few nervous laughs. Phones shot up like pistols. Obama didn't move, hands folded, eyes calm. He just waited. Trump smirked, thinking he'd won the room. Sit down, Barack. Let the people who actually built something talk. His supporters clapped. But the applause was thin, nervous, uncertain. Then finally Obama leaned forward. His voice was quiet, steady. Donald, leadership isn't about telling people when to sit down. It's about knowing when to stand up for them. The crowd erupted. Not laughter, applause. Real, rolling applause. Trump blinked, caught off guard. Obama hadn't raised his voice, hadn't insulted him, but he'd flipped the power of the room completely. When you tell someone to sit down, Obama continued, you reveal more about yourself than about them.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people.
Now the applause grew louder. Trump leaned forward, ready to cut in. Oh, come on! But the cheers drowned him out. Obama sat still, letting the silence stretch, letting everyone feel the weight of composure. When it finally quieted, he spoke again. Respect isn't about who can shout the loudest. It's about whether people choose to listen when you speak. Trump's face tightened, his jaw moved, his eyes darted. The
Right,
man who
Janet.
always dominated the stage suddenly
Yeah.
looked smaller, and the calm
Let me
beside him
start
looked
in order.
unshakable. Trump tried again. People are tired of speeches. They want results. Obama nodded slightly. You're right, people struggled. But here's the difference. When they did, I showed up. I didn't tell them to sit down. I asked them to stand with me. The crowd went wild, some on their feet, clapping, cheering. Obama raised a hand, gently lowering the energy. Leadership isn't measured by how loudly you talk at people, but by how willing you are to listen when they talk back.
It's not conservative. It sure isn't normal. It's radical. It's a vision that says the protection of our power and those who back us is all that matters, even when it hurts the country.
Trump's smile faltered. His voice cracked. You had 8 years and people still struggled. Maybe it's your turn to sit down. Obama looked straight at him. People struggled. Yes, they still do. But I didn't walk away. I didn't tell them to be quiet, because leadership isn't pretending you
Right,
fixed
Mimi.
everything. It's showing up when the
Oh,
work isn't
it ain't
done.
pretend.
Applause
What?
again.
I heard
Louder.
pretending.
The
Hold
energy
on.
in the room shifted fully. Trump leaned back. Didn't walk away. I didn't tell them to be quiet, because leadership isn't pretending you fixed everything. It's showing up when the work isn't done.
It ain't
Applause again.
pretending.
Louder. The energy in the room shifted fully. Trump leaned back, eyes darting, restless, frustrated. Obama leaned forward again. His tone sharpened. You say people want leaders who win, but win for who? If winning only makes you feel bigger while the people you represent feel smaller, that's not victory. That's vanity. The crowd exploded. A standing ovation shook the hall. Cameras zoomed in. Trump, stiff and scowling. Obama, still and calm. Trump tried to recover. People don't need sermons. They need results. Obama's reply came smooth as glass. And people don't need insults. They need to be lifted up cheers, shouts.
I think foreign observers are troubled by some of the rhetoric that's been taking place in these Republican primaries and Republican debates. I don't think it's restricted, by the way, to Mr. Trump. I mean, I find it interesting that everybody's focused on Trump primarily just because he says in more interesting ways what the other candidates are saying as well.
The audience was his. If you have to shout over everyone else to prove your strength, Obama said, maybe it's because deep down, you don't have it. The hall erupted again. Trump leaned back with a hollow laugh, pretending not to hear. The
you
moderators
heard
tried
him.
to move on, but the crowd wasn't done.
You
They were
heard him.
chanting, clapping, calling Obama's name. When they finally quieted, Obama spoke softly. Respect doesn't need volume. It's not about making others smaller so you can feel larger. It's earned by listening, by showing up, by taking responsibility. That's what leadership is, and that's what America deserved. The applause rose again, wave after wave.
Oh, he
Trump
hates
sat
that.
rigid, arms crossed. The cameras caught it all. One man shaken, one man serene. By the time the
Baby, when I tell you, he was pissed off. He was pissed off.
lights dimmed, the moment was already viral. Hashtags flooded every platform. Calling Obama's name. When they finally quieted, Obama spoke softly. Respect doesn't need volume. It's not about making others smaller so you can feel larger. It's earned by listening, by showing up, by taking responsibility. That's what leadership is, and that's what America deserved. The applause rose again, wave after wave. Trump sat rigid, arms crossed. The cameras caught it all. One man shaken, one man serene. By the time the lights dimmed, the moment was already viral. Hashtags flooded every platform. Hashtag sit down Trump. Hashtag Obama
Sit
response. Hashtag
Go
leadership
sit
matters.
down.
Clips replayed on every news channel. Headlines called it a
Actually, go
masterclass
lay
in
down.
composure.
Net credit is here to
Go lay down somewhere. Now I can go back to where we were. Is that okay? Yeah, so you can understand that when President Barack comes out and have to speak on this foolishness, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Now, as we were, yeah, when you gotta come and give us some hope to try to help guide us through this. We know you there for us. Yeah. Yes, okay. Ooh, Lord, okay. He gonna help stir it, and he gonna shame him. He gonna call him out. And you know that's gonna piss little Donnie up out. Piss him off. Let's go.
And the administration is choosing to keep the umbrella locked away. This is not about fiscal responsibility. This is not about saving money. This is a choice, a cold, calculated choice to use the most vulnerable among us as political pawns. It is a decision
You
to
right,
leverage the
Mimi.
hunger of a child to win a political argument. This is not the America I know. This is not the nation we are supposed to be. The America I served, the America I believe in, does not turn its back on its own. We are a nation whose greatness is not measured by the height of our walls, but by the strength of our safety net, by our capacity for empathy, by our willingness to see ourselves in each other. And when we see a government, our government deliberately withholding available emergency funds, creating a wave of fear and anger across the nation, we have to stand up. We have to speak out. We have to ask why. What possible justification is there? This is not a game. This is food. This is survival.
This
Let's
is
be
not a
absolutely
game.
clear about what the SNAP program is.
He
By
said,
our
this is
capacity
not
for
a
empathy,
game.
by our willingness to see ourselves in each other. And when we see a government, our government deliberately withholding available emergency funds, creating a wave of fear and anger across the nation, we have to stand up. We have to speak out. We have to ask why. What
Hi,
possible
Karen. Case
justification is
Wise
there?
Witty.
This is not a game. This is food. This is survival. Let's be absolutely clear about what the SNAP program is. Let's be clear about what we are really talking about. Because in the political arena, it is so easy to turn programs into acronyms and to turn people into talking points. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program,
Trump should feel
it
like a
is the
fool
single most
for the
effective
past president
anti-hunger
to step
program we
in
have.
and
It
still
is a testament to the idea that
him
in a
what to
nation
do.
as wealthy as ours, no one should go hungry. We are talking about the foundation of a stable life. We are talking about the difference between a child focusing on their math homework and a child distracted by a gnawing ache in their stomach. We are talking about a senior, citizen not having to make the agonizing choice between the prescription they need and the food they need to survive. That is what this program represents.
Please come
It
in
is a
hitting the
line.
like button.
A line that we, as a compassionate and decent society, decided we would not let our neighbors fall below. It's a promise.
It's a
And that
promise.
promise is now being threatened. A government shutdown, as I've said, is a failure of leadership, period. I've been there. I know the pressures. I know how dysfunctional Washington can become. But in the past, even during the most bitter of disagreements, even during a shutdown, I had to manage. Leaders from both parties we understood that there were boundaries. There were certain lines you did not cross. You
Right.
did not play games with the paychecks of our military. You did not play games with Social Security checks. And you did not play games.
See, but he want the military to be caught off guard with some of these bad deals and these arguments that he's been pissed off other countries, threaten them, and all these things. And then now our military is not getting paid, and then you got them on the streets. Yeah, that's just the craziest shit ever, but it's intentional. Yeah.
With the food that people need to feed their families. That was a line. It was a line of basic human decency. What we are witnessing today is the erasure. You did not cross. You did not play games with the paychecks of our military. You did not play games with Social Security checks. And you did not play games with the food that people
Absolutely
need to
have
feed their
integrity.
families. That was a line. It was a line of basic human decency. What we are witnessing today is the erasure of that line. We are seeing a new and deeply cynical calculation. We are seeing a decision from the president and from his agriculture secretary, Brooke, Rollins,
Evil.
to look at that $5.5 billion emergency fund, a fund that the law allows them to use, and to decide, no, we will not use it. Why? Not because the law prevents it, not because the need isn't real, but
He
because
using it for the
apparently
White
they
House.
believe that the fear and the pain of 42 million Americans is a political tool. They are using this as leverage. Think about that word, leverage.
Leverage.
They are leveraging the hunger of a child in Michigan. They are leveraging the fear of a veteran in a wheelchair in Florida. They are leveraging the panic of a single mother in Pennsylvania who doesn't know how she will fill her son's lunchbox next week. This is not strength. This is not toughness. This is a profound misunderstanding of what public service is. Public service is a trust. Power is not given to you to see how much you can inflict. It is given to you to see how much you can help. It is a responsibility to protect the people who sent you there, especially those with the least. This action is part of a larger troubling pattern, a pattern of ignoring the guardrails, a pattern of replacing empathy with cruelty, a pattern of treating government not as a force for good or even as a necessary entity, but as a weapon to be used against those you disagree with. We saw this kind, small, cruel calculations in other policies, in other moments where the vulnerable were targeted because it was politically convenient, but this is so broad, so blatant, 42 million people with the money sitting in the bank ready to go. This is a moral failure. It is a failure of leadership. It is a failure of basic human empathy. And it is not who we are. It is not who we can afford to be. This is a moment of clarity, the moment where we must look at the choices being made in our name and say, no, that is not us. We deserve better. Our neighbors deserve better. This failure, it is not an abstract thing. It is not just a headline that flashes across your screen. This failure has a name. It has an address. It has a life. It is the life of a senior citizen in Wisconsin, who I met years ago, a woman who told me that the difference SNAP made was the difference between buying fresh fruit or just buying bread. It is the life of a veteran in North Carolina, proud, strong, who came home from serving his country and just needed a bridge to get to his next job, a bridge to get his feet back on the ground. This program was that bridge. And now the administration is deciding to take a wrecking ball to that bridge. I want you to ask yourselves, what kind of leadership does this? What kind of leadership looks at the most vulnerable, to people who are already struggling, the people on the edge, and decides to push them? This is not a matter of policy disagreement. This is a matter of basic morality. This is not about being a Democrat or a Republican. This is about being human. This is about our basic obligation to one another as fellow citizens.
Y'all, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Get the likes up, please.
The 25 states that are suing the administration, they understand this. They are on the front lines. Their food banks are sounding the alarm. Their governors are seeing the panic.
25
The
states.
25 states that are suing the Democrat or Republican. This is about being human. This is about our basic obligation to one another as fellow citizens. The 25 states that are suing the administration, they understand this. They are on the front lines. Their food banks are sounding the alarm. Their governors are seeing the panic in their communities. They are forced to go to court to beg the federal government, please just follow the law. Please just release the money that Congress already set aside for this exact purpose. This is the responsibility of the Agriculture Secretary. It is her job to manage this program. It is her department's duty to feed people, not to withhold food. And it is the president's ultimate responsibility to lead, to show compassion, to provide stability. And what we are seeing is the opposite. We are seeing the creation of chaos. We are seeing the intentional infliction of pain. We are seeing a coldness where there should be care. This is a choice. And it is a deeply, profoundly wrong choice. It is a choice that violates the trust that the American people place in their government. The trust that at the end of the day, when a real crisis hits, the people in charge will do the right thing, that they won't put politics ahead of people, that they won't use the hunger of a family as a chip in a political negotiation. This administration has broken that trust. And this is not just a single event, it is a symptom. It is a sign of a sickness in our politics, a sickness where winning the argument, no matter the cost, is more important than solving the problem. A sickness where empathy is seen as weakness and cruelty is repackaged as strength. This is not strength. True strength, real leadership, is about lifting people up, not holding them down. It is about understanding that our nation is strongest, not when we look out for ourselves, but when we look out for each other. That is the America I know. That is the America we have to fight for. This choice, this deliberate choice to let food benefits freeze, it is an attack on that very idea of America. This pattern of dividing us, of treating certain Americans as other, as less than. This is what is truly at stake here. This is not just about a food program. It is about a way of thinking, a way of governing. It is a mindset that says if you are struggling, you are on your own. The mindset that says if you need help, you are somehow less worthy. That is not who we are. We are a nation that has always understood that we are all connected, that my well-being is tied to your well-being, that we are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper. That is the true American creed. And it is a creed that is being tested right now. It is being tested by an administration that seems to see the world only in terms of winners and losers, that seems to believe that for them to win, someone else must lose. And in this case, they have decided that the losers will be 42 million of our most vulnerable neighbors. This is not an accident. This is the consequence of a leadership that has lost its moral compass. It is the result of a politics that has become detached from the real lives of real people. When you are in the White House, when you are a cabinet secretary, you hold in your hands the power to impact millions, lives for good or for ill. Every signature, every decision, every order, it matters. It is not a television show, it is not a rally, it is a sacred trust, and that trust is being violated. This lawsuit from 25 states, it is a sign, it is a flashing red light. It is half the country, representatives of the people, saying what you are doing is not just wrong, it is not just harmful, it is not just cruel, it is also not what we agreed to. They are standing up for the rule of law. They are standing up for the basic idea that government should not be a tool to inflict pain. There is a better approach. There is always a better approach. We are a nation of boundless creativity, of deep compassion, of practical, common sense problem solving. We have faced challenges far greater than this shutdown. We have faced wars, we have faced depressions, we have faced natural disasters, and in every single one of those moments, what pulled us through? It was our unity. It was our sense of shared purpose. It was our fundamental belief that we are all in this together. This current crisis, this hunger crisis, it is entirely manufactured. It is a crisis of choice. And that means it is a crisis that can be unchosen. The administration could solve this today. Right now, they could release the funds. They could end the fear. They could let those 42 million Americans breathe a sigh. Ofrelef. The fact that they do not, the fact that they are forcing 25 states to sue them, that tells you everything you need to. It tells you that this is not about what is right. It is about what is politically convenient for them, and that is a betrayal of the office and a betrayal of the people they are supposed to serve. I have to ask, what is the mindset of a leader who would do this? What is the thinking in that room? When the memo comes across the desk, when an advisor says, Mr. President, if we do nothing, 42 million people will have their food aid frozen. And the answer that is implied by this action is, okay, what does that say about the character of an administration? This is not a policy disagreement. This is a cold, hard choice about who matters and who does not. And this administration, led by President Trump, and this decision carried out by Secretary Rollins, is sending a message that these 42 million Americans, they do not matter, that their fear is not important, that their hunger is a tool to be used. This is a shocking lack of empathy. It is a failure to see the humanity in our fellow citizens. It is a failure to understand the most basic duty of public service, which is to protect the public, especially those who have the least, This is not how a strong nation behaves. A strong nation is a compassionate nation. It is a nation that understands that we are only as strong as our most vulnerable link. It is a nation that builds a floor beneath which no one can fall. For decades, we have worked, Democrats and Republicans, to build that floor. We built Social Security so our elders could retire with dignity. We built Medicare so they would not be bankrupted by sickness. And we built this nutrition program so that no child in the wealthiest nation on earth would have to go to bed hungry. These programs are not handouts, they are investments. They are investments in our people, in our communities, in our shared strength. This administration is taking a hammer to that foundation. They are telling us that the very idea of a shared responsibility.
As a center admin, I've seen a lot of different people come through here. We had a student come in, he signed up for the course, and he's actually now...
The idea that we are in this together is wrong. They are promoting a different vision, a vision of you are on your own, a vision of might makes right, a vision that if you are struggling, you are a loser, and that is not America. That is not the spirit that built this country. That is not the spirit that carried us through depressions and wars.
And you know, that's the part that kills me the most. You know, these young white folk don't know what they talking about. They ain't done no type of history. You know why? Because history has been erased. They don't know that welfare and assistance was not designed and created for white people. I mean, for black people. It was created for white folk. So how dare you? You better be glad I didn't see what you said that made Janet remove your comment. Yeah, you better. And I do mean better. Be glad I didn't see it. But let's be clear. Why you got your nose all up in the air thinking that you better than somebody. You better ask your mammy and your pappy had they asses ever needed it because it was designed for them. Yeah, it was designed for them because and they was thirsty and hungry. That's why they went to Black Wall Street, turned down what we had because they could not stand seeing black people doing better than them and needing assistance. So y'all decided to start stealing again. Turn down shit because y'all couldn't handle the fact that y'all couldn't build shit and wouldn't be shit had black folk not came in and built it for you. Now them facts. And you can take them and put them wherever you want to put them. But don't come over here all high and mighty, boo, if you don't know the truth. Yeah, that's why they don't want black history, black knowledge, black accomplishments in the books. Because they have whitewashed it. That's why we the chosen. Yeah. That's why we chosen. Because God knew we was stronger than. We can survive it all. Have. Now them facts. So don't come over here on that foolishness if you don't want the truth. Because I'm going to set you free. Yeah, you high and mighty off our backs. Ooh, a B word almost came out. Woo, loud. A B word almost came out and I ain't even see what was said. Now I'm laughing at you. Y'all need us. We didn't need y'all. We didn't come stealing y'all. Y'all came stealing us. Y'all were nothing without us. You're ungrateful. Greedy. Yeah. If y'all had it all together, why did y'all go stealing folk? If y'all could do it yourself, you ain't strong enough? Yeah, I ain't think so. Go play with yourself. Before I eat your ass up. Let's go.
To be used. This is a shocking lack of empathy. It is a failure to see the humanity in our fellow citizens.
They want
It is
to.
a failure to understand the most basic duty of public service, which is to protect the public, especially those who have the least. This is not how a
Well, if they, they need to stop taking it out my check. If they don't want it to help all people, everybody who need help, then stop. Hell, then stop taking it out my check. You ain't gonna use my money. Yeah, and then act like I ain't paid into the pot. Use a lie, and the truth ain't in you. Now, if you don't like black people, and you don't like black money, hey, I can dig it. Let me keep my money. And I help my own people. Stop taking that shit out my check. Make my check look ugly. For you to be handling folk. Yeah.
strong nation behaves. A strong nation is a
Shit.
compassionate nation. It is a nation that understands that we are only as strong as our most vulnerable link. It is a nation that builds a floor beneath which no one can fall. For decades, we have worked, Democrats and Republicans, to build that floor. We built Social Security so our elders could retire with dignity. We built Medicare so they would
That's my
not be
twin sister.
bankrupted by sickness. And we built this nutrition program so that no child in the wealthiest nation on earth would have to go to bed hungry. These programs are not handouts, they are
send me that.
investments. They are investments in our people, in our communities, in our shared strength. This administration is taking a hammer to that foundation.
Folks trying to
They
really get
are
up
telling
out
us
of
that the very
shit.
idea of a shared responsibility, the very idea that we are in this together,
Absolutely.
is wrong. They are promoting a different vision, a vision of you are on your own, a vision of might makes right, a vision that if you are struggling,
White makes right. But you take black folk money. The government take black folk money. See, I can't get with the hypocrisy of it all. Yeah, see you make me want to, yeah. Yeah. White don't make right. White make sick in the head. Sick in the head. It's just, looking at these Epstein files and all the dirt, all the PDF filers. Now, I'm not saying that black folk don't do it. But the multitude of what we are seeing, ain't nobody in there black. And I'm not saying we don't do it. But in this huge cover up, closest person to it is Diddy. And we saw him chilling in the interview with Trump. Every day, I can show y'all another white pedophile attached to something that's attached to them. And you have the nerve to say white is right? No, white is pedophilia. Yeah. Right now, I'm seeing that it is molesting minors. You're a predator. And when the Bible speaks of predator, deceivers, manipulators, that's the devil. But it's a whole ring of y'all, and you had a nerve to think that you are better. Yeah, you better at messing with folks' kids. Let's go. That's what you good at.
You are a loser.
You're a
And that is
loser.
not America. That is not the spirit
Woo!
that built this
Did
country.
he call him a
That is not the
loser?
spirit that carried us
Let's
hammer
go.
to that
Oh, let's go. Yeah, y'all don't want y'all. They getting their asses out of here, ain't they?
that foundation. They are telling us that the very idea of a shared responsibility, the very idea that we are in this together, is wrong. They are promoting a different vision, a vision of you are on your
He
own,
called him a
vision
loser.
of might makes right, a vision that if you are struggling, you are a loser, and that is not
Oh,
America. That is
I
not
thought
the
he was
spirit
calling
that
him a
built this
loser.
country. That is not the spirit that carried us through depressions and wars and all the challenges we have faced. The 25 states that are suing know this. They are standing up and saying, no, not in our name, not to our people. This is not a partisan issue. This is a human issue. This is a moment where the noise of Washington, the day-to-day political fights.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting a message. Hold on, let me let y'all know just in case something happened and y'all start buffing. I just got a message that there's been a reported outage in my area. So if it starts buffing, hang in there, bear with me. You can let me know if you start buffing, and then I'll pause it. But it just let me know that there has been a reported outage in my area. Okay. Okay, good people. Can y'all hear me? Give me a 1 if you can hear me. And you are right, Karen. Trump is a loser. Okay, let's get through this. So we got an outage in my area. That's the devil. They don't want me to tell the truth and shame the devil.
A hammer to that foundation. They are telling us that the very idea of a shared responsibility, the very idea that we are in this together, is wrong. They are promoting a different vision, a vision of you are on your own, a vision of might makes right, a vision that if you are struggling, you are a loser, and that is not America. That is not the spirit that built this country. That is not the spirit that carried us through depressions and wars and all the challenges we have faced. The 25 states that are suing know this. They are standing up and saying, no, not in our name, not to our people. This is not a partisan issue. This is a human issue. This is a moment where the noise of Washington, the day-to-day political fights, has been pierced by a real human crisis, a crisis that was created on purpose, a crisis that is as unnecessary as it is cruel. And every American needs to see this clearly. This is not normal. This is not acceptable. This is a moral failure, plain and simple.
Failure.
And this choice, this cold choice, it does not stand alone. It is part of a pattern. It is the same impulse that we have seen again and again. It is the same impulse that tries to take healthcare away from millions of people without any plan to replace it. It is the same impulse that looks at a planet in peril and decides to walk away from our global commitments. It is the same impulse that sees division as a political tool rather than a wound to be healed. It is a consistent disregard for the consequences of one's actions, a disregard for the real people who get hurt, a disregard for the norms, the decency, and the laws that hold a complex society together. And this is perhaps the cruelest example yet because it is so direct. It is so targeted, aimed at the people who have the least power to fight back. It is aimed at children, at seniors, at the disabled, at the working poor. This is a government turning its back on its own people. And we have to ask ourselves, is this who we are? Is this the America we want to be? A place where a political disagreement in Washington means a child in Missouri doesn't to get to eat. A place where leaders are so insulated from reality that they cannot feel the panic of 42 million of their fellow citizens. I refuse to believe that. I know the America I served, I know the American people, and I know that we are better than this. The America I know is generous. The America I know is compassionate. The America I know is a place of common sense and common decency. The America I know understands that you play politics with people's lives. You just don't. This is not a game. This is winning a news cycle. This is about the fundamental real world survival of millions. This is about the character of our nation.
I don't
And right
blame
now,
you.
the character of our nation is being tested. It is being tested by this administration's choice, but it is also defined by our response. Our response cannot be to turn away. Our response cannot be to grow numb. We cannot allow this level of cynicism to become the new normal. We have to see it for what it is. It is a betrayal of the trust we place in our leaders. It is a failure
It's
of the
definitely a
most basic
betrayal.
test of leadership. And it is a sign that we have to work even harder to reclaim the values that we hold dear. We must demand better because we and those 42 million Americans, we deserve better. Think about the message this sends. Think about the signal it sends to every family that is just one paycheck away, one crisis away from needing a little bit of help. The message is you cannot count on us. The message is your security, your children's well-being. It is less important than our political fight. That is a message that corrodes the very glue that holds us together. It destroys trust. It breeds fear. And for what possible political gain is it worth putting 42 million people in a state of fear? This is not a negotiation. This is an act of holding the most vulnerable people in our country hostage. That is what this is, and it is happening in plain sight. This is not some complicated policy detail. This is simple. The money is there. The need is real. The law allows it, and the administration is saying no. This is a moment that should force every single one of us to stop and ask, is this the country we want to live in? Is this the kind of leadership we find acceptable? Because this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. I know people from all parties, from all walks of life, who would agree you do not let your people go hungry. You just don't. It is a basic fundamental line of decency, and that line is being crossed. This is not about saving. The money, that $5.5 billion, was already put aside. It was set aside by a Congress that knew a shutdown or some other emergency might happen. They planned for this. They created the safety net. This administration is making an active choice to tear a hole in that net and to watch as 42 million people begin to fall through.
I'm Sarah, and I'm an attorney here at Atticus. It's no secret.
This is a manufactured crisis. It is a crisis created by a decision in an office in Washington. It is not a flood. It is not a hurricane. It is a choice, a human choice. And that means a different choice can be made. The president could pick up the phone right now. The Secretary of Agriculture could sign the paper right now. And this entire crisis, this fear, this anger, this lawsuit from 25 states, it could all be over. The fact that they choose not to, that tells you everything. It tells you that this is not an oversight. It is not a mistake. It is a tactic. It is a political strategy, and it is a strategy that is built on the suffering of others. That is not leadership. That is the opposite of leadership. Leadership is about absorbing fear, not creating it. Leadership is about providing stability, not causing chaos. Leadership is about responsibility, and that responsibility is being completely abandoned. This action, as I said, it does not happen in a vacuum. It is part of a larger story. It is part of a mindset that we have seen chip away at the things we value. When you see an administration that walks away from our allies, that cozies up to dictators, that undermines our own intelligence agencies, it is part of the same pattern. It is a pattern of breaking things, a pattern of rejecting responsibility, a pattern of thinking that the rules do not apply. And when you apply that same pattern, that same breaking, that same rejection of rules to the people you are supposed to serve, this is what you get. You get 42 million Americans facing a hunger crisis, not because the nation is poor, but because the leadership is poor. Poor in spirit, poor in empathy, poor in understanding the basic bargain of a civil society. The bargain is that we all pay in, we all participate, and in return, we have a government that provides a basic level of security. A government that fixes the roads, that keeps the air clean, that funds the research, and that makes sure its people do not starve. This administration is breaking that bargain. This is not a strong move. This is a sign of deep weakness. It is a sign of a leadership that is so insecure.
He
so
weak, all right.
desperate to win a political
Did he
fight
call him
that it is willing
insecure?
to sacrifice its own people. True strength is not shown by
Oh,
how many
wow.
fixes the roads, that keeps the air clean, that funds the research, and that makes sure the nation is poor, but because the leadership is poor. Poor in spirit, poor in empathy, poor in understanding the basic bargain of a civil society. The bargain is that we all pay in, we all participate, and in return, we have a government that provides a basic level of security. A government that fixes the roads, that keeps the air clean, that funds the research, and that makes sure its people do not starve. This administration is breaking that bargain. This is not a strong move. This is a sign of deep weakness. It is a sign of a leadership that is so insecure, so desperate to win a political fight that it is willing to sacrifice its own people. True strength is not shown by how many people you can hurt. True strength is shown by how many people you can help. A true strength is shown by keeping your word, by following the law, by showing compassion, by understanding that the president's job is not to serve his base. The
Thank you,
president's job is to
Naturally
serve every
Norland.
single American. The child who is hungry, the senior who is scared, the family that is just trying to get by. Those 25 states, they are not just suing over a legal point. They are suing to defend the very idea of a government that cares. They are suing to protect their people from their own federal government. Read that again. States are having to protect their citizens from the federal government. This is a shocking state of affairs. This is not normal. We must not accept this as normal.
Shit
We
ain't
must
gonna
speak
get
out.
better along as Trump.
We
You
must
right.
demand that this
Trav.
administration release those funds, that they end this self-inflicted crisis. And we must remember
Release the fire.
this feeling, this shock, this anger, this sense that this is wrong. We must remember it, and we must channel it. Channel it into a demand for something better, because we are a good and decent people. And we deserve a government that reflects that goodness and that decency. I keep thinking about the ripple effects of this decision. This is not just about 42 million individuals. It is about their communities. It is about the grocery stores in those neighborhoods, the small businesses that rely on that money flowing through the local economy. It is about the food banks, which are already strained and are now looking at a coming wave of need that they cannot possibly meet. This is an economic shock as well as a moral one. This decision made in an office in Washington will be felt on main streets all across this country. It will mean less food sold. It will mean local economies get weaker. It will mean more strain on charities, on churches, on neighbors who are already doing so much to help each other. This is the government creating a problem that does not need to exist. And it is all being done, it seems, as a power play, a political game, but for the
Hey,
people
Veer
at the kitchen
Escher,
table,
likes
the people
up,
trying to
please.
figure out how to feed their children. This is not a game. This is their life. This is the moment they were afraid of. And it is a moment that their own government, the very people sworn to protect them, has inflicted upon them. This is a failure of governance. It is a failure of common sense. It is
Failure.
a failure of leadership from the very top, from the president and from the Secretary of Agriculture. Their job is to manage these programs. Their job is to ensure the stable running of the country. And instead, they are the ones pulling the plug. They are the ones manufacturing the crisis. And we have to ask why. Why would any leader do this? The only answer, the only one that makes any sense, is that they believe this pain, this fear, will help them politically. They believe that by hurting 42 million people, they can get something they want. That is a dark, cynical way to govern. It is a way of thinking that is foreign to the American spirit. The American spirit is about building. It is about lifting up. It is about solving problems, not creating them. It is about looking out for one another. This is the opposite. This is division. This is cruelty. And it is a rejection of the values that we are supposed to stand for. This is not about a budget debate. This is about a basic, decent responsibility. The money is there, the need is urgent, and the administration is just saying no. It is a failure of a staggering kind, and it is one that we cannot and must not ignore. When I was in office, we faced crises. We faced a financial collapse that was the worst since the Great Depression. We faced health scares. We faced disasters. And in every one of those moments, the question was never, how can we use this to our advantage? The question was always, how can we help the most people as quickly as possible? The question was, how do we restore calm? How do we provide help? How do we fix what is broken? That is the job. That is the entire point of public service. It is to serve the public, all of the public, not just the people who voted for you, not just the people who agree with you, all of them, and especially those who are having the toughest time. This
I'm eating
administration,
out of my
with this
freezer
action,
now.
is showing that they do not believe in that idea. They believe in a different
Hey,
model.
Jazzy.
A model where government is a weapon, a model where if you are not with them, you are against them. And if you are in need, you are seen as weak. And that weakness is something to be exploited, not helped. This is a sad day for our country.
Politics
It
is
is a
a
sad day
science,
when
not a
25
game.
states have to go to court to beg the federal government to simply do its job, to simply feed its own citizens. This is a level of dysfunction, a level of basic lack of care that is hard to understand. But we must understand it. We must see it clearly. We must see that this is a choice, a deliberate, intentional choice by the president and his administration to withhold food from 42 million Americans. The money is there. The law allows it. The need is real, and the answer is no. This is a moral line, a line that has been crossed, and it should make every American, no matter your politics, stop and ask, is this what we want? Is this who we are? I do not believe it is. I believe we are a nation that is better than this, a nation that is kinder than this, a nation that is smarter than this. We would never, as neighbors, walk past a family that was hungry and lock our own pantry. We would help, we would share. That
Sure
is who
will.
we are. We need a government that reflects that's some basic decency.
You found your dream engagement ring at Chain Company.
And he just
Is it
not a
protected?
decent man.
Absolutely. We
He
protect
wants
it
some
with
mashed
our all.
potatoes on his head.
We need leaders who understand that their first job, their only job, is to protect and serve the American people, all of them. And right now, in this crisis, that job is not being done. That trust is being broken. And those 42 million people deserve so much better. Let's talk about what this means for a child who has no part in these political fights, a child who doesn't know about
Mashed
shutdowns,
potato
or about
head.
funds, or about who is president. All that child knows is whether they are hungry. All they
Absolutely.
know is whether there is food in the house. When a child is hungry, that child cannot learn. They cannot focus in school. They cannot grow in the way they are meant to grow. That child's future is being put at risk. And for what? For a political fight in Washington. This is not an abstract idea. This is about that child. And it is about the senior citizen, the older person who has worked their whole life, paid their taxes,
Right.
played by the rules. And now, in their later years, they depend on this help to have basic dignity. The dignity of not going hungry. This decision by the president and his team, it tries to take away that dignity. It creates fear. It creates deep worry. It makes people feel left behind, abandoned, and that is not what government is for. Government is supposed to provide a floor, a foundation, a basic level of security so that people can live their lives and raise their families and try to build something for themselves. This administration
Trump only
is
thinks of
actively
himself
taking
and
a
putting more
hammer
and more money
to that foundation.
in his
They are
bank
making
account.
a
And his
clear
kids.
choice
And
to
in
make life
Israel.
harder for people who are already struggling. This is not about being tough. This is not about being strong. It is the very opposite. It is a sign of a leadership that is so disconnected, so far away from the lives of real people, that it cannot see the real damage it is doing. It is a sign of a leadership that has truly lost its way. The 25 states
Forever.
that are suing, they see the damage.
So let's be
They
clear.
are the one.
If they open it up for a president to be able to do a third term, then we need to vote for Obama. How about that? If he can do a third term, so can President Obama. Open it up if you want to. Let's play that game. Can we play that game? Can we play that game? If he can run for a third term, so can President Obama. He'll worm out, Prime Minister. Huh? He'll eat that ass up. Eat that ass up. Say what? Yeah. Let's go. Let's play that game. Let's play that game. Find a loophole. Find the loophole. And then put him on the ticket. If, let's be clear, let's mark it, let's stamp it. If Trump finds a loophole for a third term, then put President Obama on the ticket. Go up against President Obama. That's what we want for a third term. Since y'all looking for loopholes and finding for interpretation, yeah, find a loophole, yeah, and watch President Obama eat your monkey ass up and get the United States out of this havoc, this mess that you done put us in. He left you in perfect position and you intentionally fucked it up. So it's rightfully so that he get us back together because you fucked it up. How about that? Because you's a fuck up. Your mama knew it when she had you. Oh, Lord, I done fucked up. Yes, indeed you have. And then you done left us with this clown. Let's go.
A floor, a foundation, a basic level of security.
I don't blame
so
Biden.
that people can live their lives and
It's his
raise their
fault. He just
families
evil.
and try to build something for themselves. This administration is actively taking a
Pedo
hammer
taco.
to that foundation. They're making a clear choice to make life harder
Obama
for people
for
who are already
28.
struggling.
Oh, I
This is
need
not
a
about being
hat for
tough.
that.
This is not about being strong. It is the very opposite. It is a sign of a leadership that is so disconnected, so far away from the lives of real people, that it
Diaper
cannot
Trump
see
sting.
the real damage it is doing. It is a sign of a leadership that has truly
Y'all
lost
funny.
its way. The 25 states that are suing, they see the damage. They are the
America
ones who have to
would
deal with the
roar.
real
We need to
world
start
results of this
hashtagging that,
choice.
y'all.
They know that when the federal government fails to do its job, the weight falls on them. It falls on their local charities, their local churches, their local communities. This administration is not just failing 42 million people. It is failing all of us. It is failing
Hey,
to do the
Krista.
basic job of governing.
But in the just
It is failing to show basic
others
human
just show
kindness.
no empathy,
And it is
right?
a reminder that we cannot take these things for granted.
They need
We
jobs,
cannot
not food
just
stamps.
assume.
Well, he cutting
Let me tell you
jobs.
about my experience with the 5-day juice cleanse. As someone who's always on the
And,
go, I
and,
was a bit
and
skeptical about
people getting
that
laid
their
off
leaders
left and
will-
right. They saying Target laying off thousands, Amazon laid off 6,000. If they laying off jobs, what? He orchestrated it all. Oh, Prime Minister, go on. Everybody can't get a job. That's Monroe County. Everybody don't live in Monroe. Oh, well, yeah, he do blame, hell, but he tried to blame Obama, too. You know, a lot of people who have lost their job, I said that the other day, that's just in 2025, since he been in office, is affected. Lost their job. And listen, let me tell you something. People have worked for and paid into it. If I paid into anything and I don't have a job, I'm going to get my money out of it. Now, we ain't going to be unrealistic. There would not be anything for Trump to get if it wasn't for us paying taxes. He's stealing from us. And folk worrying about who got a job. He got a job and ain't doing his job and stealing.
Do the right thing. We have to demand it. We have to speak out. We have to use our voices.
Oh, he know
to make
Obama
it
gonna
clear
eat
that
his
this is
ass
not
up.
acceptable, that this is not who we are. It is a sign of a
In a
leadership
politically
that is so
correct kind of way.
disconnected, so far away from the lives of real people, that it cannot see the real damage it is doing. It is a sign of a leadership that has truly lost its way. The 25 states that are suing, they see the damage. They are the ones who have to deal with the real world results of this choice. They know that when the federal government fails to do its job,
Only the
weight
rich.
falls on them. It falls on their local charities, their local churches, their local communities. This administration is not just failing 42 million people. It is failing all of us. It is failing
Yeah,
to
let
do
me
the basic
hashtag.
job of governing. It is failing to show basic human kindness. And it is a reminder that we cannot take these things for granted. We cannot just assume that our leaders will do the right thing. We have
Nope.
to demand it. We have to speak out. We have to use our voices to make it clear that this is not acceptable, that this is not who we are. We are a
Yeah.
nation that
Shout
helps our
out
neighbors.
to
We are a nation.
Brian. I can't think of his first name. He said Sunday, instead of paying tithes, pay your tithes and groceries. Bring groceries. Use your 10% and buy groceries or whatever your tithe and offering is. Shout out to him. That's what's up. That's what's up.
That believes in decency, and we deserve leaders who believe in those same things. This is a moment of truth. It is a moment where we see the real values of an administration, not the values they talk about, not the words they say at rallies, but the values they show through their actions. And the action here is to withhold food from 42 million people, while the money to help them sits in a bank account, ready and waiting to be used. Let that sink in for a moment. The help is there. It is available, and they are choosing not to give it. This is a choice that is hard to defend. It is a choice that is impossible to justify on moral grounds. It is a choice that puts politics above people, and that is always, always wrong. We have so many real problems to solve in this country. We have children who need better schools. We have roads and bridges that need to be fixed. We have a changing climate to deal with. We have so much important work to do, work that we can only do together. And all that work requires us to trust each other. It requires us to trust that our government is working for all of us. But how can people trust a government that would deliberately withhold food from them? How can you trust a leadership that sees your family's hunger as just a tool, a piece in a political game? This action, it breaks that trust. It pulls us apart. It makes it harder for us to come together. It makes it harder for us to solve our real problems because it tells 42 million of our fellow Americans that their government does not care about them. That is a terrible message to send. It is a damaging message, and it is a false one. We care. The American people care. I know we do. I have seen the goodness and the generosity of the American people in every single corner of this nation. We are a compassionate people. And that is exactly why this is so shocking, because this action does not reflect us. It does not reflect our values. It reflects the values of a small group of people in Washington who have lost touch with the very people they are supposed to be serving. This is a failure.
Carrie, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't read it. I didn't like it. I
It is a
just
reminder
removed
that
you.
leadership matters. Who is in charge matters. Their character matters, their empathy matters. And when that empathy is missing,
Hi, Tammy.
this is the result. The most vulnerable people, the ones with the least power, are the ones who pay the price. And that is not an America we should ever be willing to accept. I want every American who is watching this, every person who is not personally affected.
Hungry Root is the
Yeah, watch
easiest
what you
way
say when
to
you
be
come over
healthy.
here.
Hungry Root is kind of like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist.
To really think about what this means, this is a choice by the president and his
Yes.
administration to use
You're
hunger
welcome,
as a
Tammy.
political weapon. There is no other way
There's
to describe
hope.
it. When you have the money, when you have the legal authority, and these 25 states are suing because they believe the law demands it and you still refuse to act, you are making a choice. You are deciding that your political fight is more important than a child's dinner. You are deciding that
It says if a man don't work, he don't eat. But guess what it says? Guess what else it says, Prime Minister Chris? Look it up. It says if your brother is hungry, feed him. Prime Minister Chris, it says if your brother is hungry, feed him. Okay. Where does it say if your brother is hungry, feed him? It says take care of kids and widows. And you still fail to understand is that money that's there came from us. It's our money. Fuck you mean? Somebody did work. Yeah. He ain't giving it to us out of his pocket. It came out of ours. It come out of my check. Yeah, so stop playing with me about the Bible.
Than a senior citizen's health. This is a level of cynicism that is
Your heart ain't
profoundly
right.
damaging.
You got a heart
It
condition.
is a sign that something is deeply broken in our leadership. And this is not just about the 42
Thank
million
you,
people who depend on this program. It is about the other 300 million of us who have to watch this happen. It is about the country we are becoming. Are we a country?
Yeah, when we start finding reasons to justify, if a person is taking advantage, that's between them and God. But in the United States, it's set up this way. Say you're supposed to obey the laws of the land. I mean, since we're going in the Bible, right? Now, that's your mama, the loser, Mike the fighter. That's your mama for having you. That's your mama. Why she do that? She should have, what they say, she should have swallowed it. Bye, Mike the loser. Bye.
That is so divided, so angry, that we will allow.
They thought that they was gonna get a PPP loan.
There is no
now,
other way
and that's a different story, Prime Minister.
When you have the legal authority, and these 25 states are suing because they believe the law demands it, and you still refuse to act, you are making a choice. You are deciding that your political fight is more important than a child's dinner. You are deciding that your power is more important than a senior citizen's health. This is a level of cynicism that is profoundly damaging. It is a sign that something is deeply broken in our leadership. And this is not just about the 42 million people who depend on this program. It is about the other 300 million of us who have to watch this happen. It is about the country we are becoming. Are we a country that is so divided, so angry, that we will allow our leaders to starve our own citizens to win a politicum? Point, I cannot and I will not accept that. This is a moment for us to look in the mirror, to ask ourselves,
Absolutely.
What do we stand for? Do we stand for this kind of casual cruelty? Do we stand for a government that turns its back on its most basic duty? Or do we stand for something better? Do we stand for compassion? Do we stand for decency? Do we stand for the simple, powerful idea that in the United States of America, nobody should go hungry, especially not because of a political game? This is not a hard question. It is the most basic test of a decent society. And right now, this administration is failing that test. They are failing it in front of the whole world. And the people who are paying the price, the people who are sitting at their kitchen tables right now, filled with a cold, quite treat, they deserve so much more from us. They deserve a government that sees them, that respects them, and that fights for them, not a government that treats them as worthless pawns. This is why we have to stay engaged. This is why we cannot get tired, because this is the real life result. When we allow this kind of leadership to go unchecked, the stakes are not abstract. The stakes are 42 million empty plates. This is a manufactured crisis. It is a crisis.
And if you happen to read,
and it is a choice
that in full text, it's talking about a man. Because women are supposed to be at home. A wife is supposed to be at home. It's talking about a man. Read it in its fullness. Now, I know these new and improved Bibles, but you go back, it's talking about a man, sweetheart, not a woman.
That comes from a place of profound disconnect, a disconnect from the reality of life. For most Americans, when you live a life of such privilege, when you are so surrounded by wealth and power, it becomes possible, it seems, to forget what it feels like to check the price of milk, to forget what it feels like to stretch a single paycheck to the end of the month. to forget the kind of quiet panic that sets in when you are not sure how you will make it all work. This administration, this president and his Secretary of Agriculture, they have forgotten. They have forgotten who they work for. They do not work for themselves. They do not work for
Tell
their
'em.
political party. They work for the American people. And that includes the 42 million people they are now threatening to plunge into a hunger crisis. This lawsuit by 25 states is a desperate cry for help. It is a group of leaders from all over the country, from different backgrounds, who are looking at the facts and saying, this is not right, this is not legal, this is not moral. They are trying to force the administration to do the right thing. But it should not be this hard. It should not take a massive lawsuit to get the government to follow the law and feed its own people. That should be the first thing they do, not the last. It should be the one thing that everyone can agree on. This is what we mean when we talk about a better approach. A better approach is not complicated. It is simple. It is a leadership that puts people first. It is a leadership that solves problems instead of creating them. It is a leadership that understands that the true measure of our strength is not how we treat the powerful, but how we treat the vulnerable. By that measure, this administration is failing, and it is up to us, all of us, to say so, to say it clearly, to say it with one voice: this is wrong, this is not who we are.
I
And
know.
we as a nation deserve so much better. My fellow Americans, we have walked through this story together. We have looked at the hard facts. We have seen the choice that was made, a choice by the president and his administration to turn their backs on 42 million of Taurian people, a choice to see their hunger not as a tragedy to be solved, but as a political tool to be used. We have seen 25 states, half the country so alarmed by this, so certain that it is wrong, that they have been forced to sue their own government, to beg the people in power to simply follow the law, use the emergency money that was set aside for this exact emergency, and to let our neighbors feed their families. This is not a normal disagreement. This is not a simple policy debate. This is a moment that cuts to the very core of who we are. It is a test of our nation's character. And the actions we have seen from this administration, this deliberate, cold, and calculated decision, it does not reflect the character of the American people. I know you. I have traveled this country. I have met you in big cities and in small towns. I have seen your decency. I have seen your kindness. I have seen you pull together when your neighbors are in trouble. You do not do this. You do not turn your back. You do not play games with a child's next meal. The America I know, the America you live in, is better than this. Our leadership should be better than this. We deserve better. Those 42 million people, and every single one of us, we deserve a government that is guided by empathy, a government that is guided by common sense, a government that understands its first and most sacred duty is to protect its people, not to use them as pawns. This is what we must demand. This is the better approach we must fight for. This is why we have this conversation. This is why we build this community, because we believe in an America where everyone matters, where no one is left behind to face the cold fear of hunger alone. If you believe in that America, if you believe this conversation is necessary, then I ask you to join us. This is more than just a channel. It is a place for us to remember who we are at our best. So please like this video to show that you stand for compassion. Comment below
What does
and
please
let us
stop
know your
mean?
thoughts. Your voice is a vital part of this.
What do you want? Please stop what, Mrs. Tom? Prime Minister, what are you talking about? What you being disrespectful? Okay, you need to come back another day. Okay, bye. Bye. Y'all say bye to Prime Minister. must be drunk in his funk. I don't know. Bye.
I have seen your
Hey,
decency.
Crystal, I haven't seen you in a
I have
minute.
seen your kindness. I have seen you pull together when your neighbors are in trouble. You do not do this. You do not turn your back. You do not play games with a child's next meal. The America I know, the America you live in, is better than this. Our leadership should be better than this. We deserve better. Those 42 million people, and every single one of us, we deserve a government that is guided by empathy, a government that is guided by common sense, a government that understands its first and most sacred duty is to protect its people, not to use them as pawns. This is what we must demand. This is the better approach we must fight for. This is why we have this conversation. This is why we build this community, because we believe in an America where everyone matters, where no one is left behind to face the cold fear of hunger alone. If you believe in that America, if you believe this conversation is necessary, then
It's
I ask you
necessary.
to join us. This is more than just a channel. It is a place for us to remember who we are at our best. So please like this video to show that you stand for compassion. Comment below and let us know your thoughts. Your voice is a vital part of this. Subscribe to this channel so that we can...
Okay, y'all. So listen, I'm going to cover President Barack Obama. I am going to put his link for y'all to go and join. And bag our president. Hold on. Now, President Obama, you must know I really like you, man. I'm telling folk who probably ain't subscribe to me to go subscribe to you. Let me share. Let me. There go the leak. President Obama. Build the vision. I subscribed. There you go, right there. Put this in my put this here so that we'll know in the body. Okay, so y'all, what time is it? I got a live that was playing before this one with more info on the discovery Candace, and it is set that y'all go to President Obama's page. That link, I just dropped the link. Are y'all able to hit the link and go and subscribe? If y'all are not getting my notifications, y'all need to go to my page as well and subscribe and unsubscribe, and then turn back around and subscribe and hit the top bell. Make sure y'all hit the top bell on President Obama. Can y'all go ahead and do that now while we still together? We gotta come together as one. He kind of low key with it because he didn't put his name on it. He kind of low key with it. Okay, what time is it? 28. It's what? Okay, I don't know what I was finna type it. Oh, did I hold on? Did I paste the scripture for if your brother or sister is hungry, feed them? There is no excuse that we can find every excuse. Oh, I need to make it, dang, I forgot to make it, take it off of, hold on. It's probably still sitting under, unlisted. Now it's gonna be on this page. No, I got it public. It's scheduled for 10:30. You don't see it? Now let me double check it because my system, our internet was down. Today the 28th. Yeah, it's scheduled for 10:30. So I'm going to, did it post earlier what it said about if your brother and sister is hungry, feed them? James 2:15 through 17. I couldn't get it all on here. Oh yeah. Thank you, natural knowledge. Okay, so I'm finna hang up, y'all. I'm finna get out of here and going over to talk about Candace. Let's hear what she got to say. Okay, y'all. Let me. I ain't gonna worry about it. I really need to. Y'all go ahead and go over there. Let me reboot my phone and make sure I reboot and because since I was having our system been down, I'ma reboot and I'll be right there.